does it feel like this test match is not against Sri Lanka? It feels like Australia's playing against Bazball. Welcome back to The Grey Cricketer. Brought to you by ACO, India's tech first insurance company. India, you know what? Not India, Sri Lanka. They need some insurance against the wizardry. The wizardry that is Marnus Labuskakni and Steve Smith. Oh, he made us wait. He made us wait, Pez, for his 28th test century. He made us wait 16 test match innings. Now, I've seen other guys who are pretty good as well made their nation wait a lot more than that. But the day, who's the day about, mate? Is it about Marnus or Smudger?
It's about the Maxwell nonsense. No, not true. It's a shame Maxwell missed out. Would love to see him play, but I feel like there was clamour for Maxwell, which was understandable. But I feel like Cummins has just needed his mate in the side. I just feel like it was like, looks, Hoff is gone. I'm not getting rid of Starkey as well. It's too good. There's too much reverse. There's too much wheels, mate. The day's about Steve Smith for me. Like I was, and all Australians deeply relieved that he brought up the three figures, mainly for him because he belted that cover drive for 4. He hugged Alex Carey. He breathed out for the first time since 2019. And like he lives for this shit. 28 test tons. He's probably only had 28 good days in his life. Like, and that's what I want from Australian number 4. This is his elixir. This shit. He found his promised land, and for all of us, we did as well. I need runs next to Smith's name. Like I can't describe to you, and I will do it shamefully. Like what sort of like deep joy it brings me to see that he averages 60. 6-0 next to his name. Like,
60.
I treasure that as a human. That's. I mean, I've been lucky enough to meet him once or twice, but I don't know him from a bar of fucking soap. Like, and he's got 6 and 0 next to his name, and I will sleep easier tonight because of that fact. And that's a problem.
Didn't you really struggle for months on end when you saw Steve Smith averaging 59? It's Bradman gear, like 99.94, just like, nearly 100. I have never had sex in my life. But when I see, that's how they talk as well. That's how they talk.
Lemmings.
When I see Steve Smith 60, it's been a minute since we've spoken about safety pairs. Nathan Lyon bowled really nicely in that last game, but fuck me. I mean, it doesn't make you feel safe. It's a great performance, don't get me wrong. But Steve Smith, batting in form, I feel like a fucking weighted blanket has been delivered to me from Instagram that I've been on my featured ads for a while because I've been clicking some shit.
Yeah.
Yep. And that to me just it ensconces me in a warmth that I can't even describe. I feel like I'm in the womb again. I feel so safe in my mother's womb.
Yeah, fucking mate, that is really beautifully said. Some of the best stuff you've said. And I think more broadly, speaking about Bazball and all that kind of shit, like I don't know about you, but I just saw normal cricket today. Like I saw control, I saw safety, I saw familiar run rates. They were going a little bit. They're at 3.3. But it was all within mortal realms. Things that I can grasp and clasp and understand in my head. I saw 90 actual overs bowled. Not that I nonce myself over that stuff, but I saw nearly 300 runs, five wickets down. Just that's all divisible, and I saw. When it was 298 and that bothered me. But,
Pez has got a train timetable in his pocket. He likes to watch the trains come into that exact moment. When's the 528 coming in?
I saw 200s to the Australian numbers 3 and 4 respectively. After the last couple of weeks of all these fucking Kiwi fucking face salad, sockless trainer, Rob Key philosophy, Bairstow shit. Which
Stokes' new salad.
We've been very clear about our praise for it. Stokes' salad, where like weird fucking just culty philosophy, like words and shit. I'm just happy for all. I'm happy for 5 for 300. Australia dominating 200s to our 3 and 4. Smith is back in the runs. We'll just do that. That's fine. That's fine by me.
So Australia won the toss. And Pat Cummins looked in the match referee's eye and said, "You blokes can chase." He looked at me and you blokes can chase whatever we put on the board.
Or as one ex-Australian captain was purported to have said at Green Shield, though this doesn't apply because Australia's batting.
Let's demonetize the video, Pez.
Oh shit. Okay, well, what's the substitute word for it? No, fuck it.
Coat.
Oh, yeah, okay, all right. Well, anyway, apparently looked at his opposition. He said, use coats can bat. Just if you can take a guess who it is. Take a guess who it is.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And that was a harbinger for 15 years of absolute dominance in world cricket, stemming from Green Shield under 16s. Use coats can bat.
Anyway,
Pat Cummins
batted, he chose to bat.
Yeah, a much friendly. It doesn't really apply in this scenario in any case, but it's just a funny anecdote. Pat Cummins had a stick, and the conversations before the game was with Maxwell would play. Would he bat at 8? They picked Stark instead. I think it's just all fun. I'm not sure if they were fucking with Sri Lanka or if there was any of that sort of gear, but you know what? I wanted to see it a little bit because I think that Australia in any capacity are just going to outskill. They're just going to outskill Sri Lanka. I don't see any matchup that Sri Lanka have that can necessarily... Like, how does Sri Lanka win the game, mate? How does Sri Lanka win the game? By probably producing an absolute ragger, right conditions go their way, one or two guys perform outstandingly, and Australia sort of fall in a heap. I think that, in the realm of, like, international cricket, these Sri Lankan players are, like, the best players you've ever seen in your life if they played for your team. But in the international realms, they're a poor team. They are. They're a poor international team, and they're about to lose 2-0 at home. But I think Australia batted nicely today. I think an underrated factor today, mate, and it's a bit... I don't want to get into fucking how many tests have you played, because as you know, our aggregate is 0. But one thing that actually affects the game enormously today is how fucking windy it is. Like, and everyone's played in winds, and it's the least favourite condition. Now, everyone watching this has had a bad day of cricket, and that includes if you never played, but you just watched it. It's still a bad day of cricket sometimes. Yeah. But when it's windy as fuck, when the camera can't stay still, because of the wind factor at the fort end or the other end or whatever it is, and it's whistling through your grill, or you're playing the sweeper and you can't hear shit. The captain's waving at you, go square or go finer, and you can't hear anything. It's fucking hard to bat. It's hard to bowl. It's hard to umpire. It's hard to watch that. Wind is the worst condition in the entire world, and it looked windy as fuck today. So that makes Steve Smith's actually 350 today, I thought.
Yeah, no, I like it. Mate, look, you could tell from Russell Arnold's analysis before the day's play, and then obviously Cummins batting first, that there seemed to be broad agreement that the wicket was not going to be as dramatic as the wicket in the first test. And you're right about the selection stuff. I wondered whether, like, Australia might have foxed Sri Lanka into a flatter deck or something by feigning to pick Maxwell. That's probably just some 4D chess shit that only, someone with a lot of time on their hands would think about. They probably just pick Stark. Yeah, said it twice already today. Good selection. Sri Lanka bowled a little bit more pace today as well. They obviously took the new ball, that sort of stuff. So there's some merit in it, and Australia. It's a good toss to win, really, and they've made the most of it. I thought Khawaja and Warner got pretty good balls. I was going to say the same thing. There was an interesting one with Warner where he's who bowled him? It was Rajita. Was just like running his fingers down the seam. He was bowling off cutter, so he was trying to execute the ball that he actually ended up getting. And Warner's missed it by a little bit, but just like clatters into middle and off stump. And like we've seen Warner with this, like a right armour bowling around the wicket, obviously famously against Stuart Broad. That's actually not just Warner. There's been a lot of left-handers in the history of the game that struggle with right armers bowling around the wicket. The angle comes at them and it decks away. And at high pace, at high skill, it looks pretty hard. I thought it was a pretty good seat. And Khawaja's ball against Mendes was a fucking jaffer. And at that point, I thought, like, if Australia get 250, I reckon that's going to be a pretty good score. And you know what? I actually maintain that. I think that Sri Lanka, they've got 3 debutants in this game. 4 changes, 3 debutants in the game. And this is the level of, like, some of these guys average 25, 22 in first-class cricket. They're really good players, but at test level, can you bowl at both ends
spell after pressure after pressure after pressure, and there's just a loose ball, and I don't mean a four ball like it was in the first test. I just mean like one, just strain down leg, get a guy off strike. And they just don't execute that. And I think that actually makes you appreciate the skill of Nathan Lyon, for instance, who has played 103 test matches now. That it's relentless, and maybe Lyon isn't the ragger that we've seen with, Warren and Muralitharan and other world-class spinners with as many wickets as him or even Ashwin. It's just relentless and it's high skill, and it just feel like the Sri Lankan players are just that half rung down, and I just felt like it's just a little easy for Smith to get off strike because they can't bowl two maidens in a row. I mean that's the level that you need to execute at this level against a pretty strong Australian team. But yeah, anyway, so I mean you and I before this series, mate, we said I thought it was a big series for Marnus, and you correctly I thought said that it's a big series for Smith, and then both these guys have hit hundreds. This is Marnus's first century away from home. He sort of has ambitions to be in the top four big boys. He's probably next cab or with Baba and other guys. But it's even though in my opinion Sri Lanka aren't a great international test team, I think that this is high skill to bat away from home against spinners, and it's a different skill to what they've grown up with. And to score 100 is pretty fucking good. And it's all you ask for, isn't it?
Yep.
It's all you ask for, mate. If you're test batters, just score hundreds endlessly.
It's all you can ask. I thought it was the innings of the day. I thought let's just...
Marnus's?
Comparison is the thief of joy, but I thought he looked busy, he looked fluent, he looked on top of his game, he moved it along. I felt Smith, if you're going to critique it, I thought he nursed his way there a little bit. He needed to work it out a bit, but he started to come good, Smith, towards the end. But yeah, it's good. I don't know what else to say other than I just feel deeply safe for number 3 doing it. I feel even safer that Travis Head chose not to walk after being clean bowled. That says to me that
that makes me feel good.
It says to me that Australia's coming back. Australia's returning, and and people like I noted on the SMH friend of ours, friend of the show, Tom Decent. He did say that Travis Head's averaging 23 away from home in tests. He's got a high score of 51 from 14 digs. Ain't going to cut the mustard. But what Tom forgets is that Head is a bowler. And he's an all-rounder. Yeah, he's an all-rounder. He's a bowler in these conditions. And he's also forgetting that when he drops his back knee and slices that square drive, there's nothing better that you've seen in Australian conditions. So he does a bit of bin lid stuff. He's good around the boys. Yep. I'm not really sure. I think Travis Head is a banker for the next 3 seasons, really.
Yeah. Mate, I agree, mate. If my premier off spinner's averaging 23 with a blade, I'm taking that every day of the week.
That's right, it's a good contribution.
Don't you worry about that, mate. Any runs are a bonus. Mate, do you reckon Smith? There's no way that Smith enters the 90s, and he actually gets to 100 pretty swiftly with maybe a couple of boundaries in the 90s. But
the cover drive to bring up the ton was fucking hot shit.
Yeah, hot shit. Different to Hot Chip, which is a electro band from the earlier
great band too.
Decade. There's no way he isn't across every conversation about what's happening with Virat Kohli. Hundreds in 120 digs, with Joe Root's ascension to the throne with 12 hundreds in the last 18 months or whatever. With Bairstow's recent runs, there's no way he is not across, and he's in the 90s, and he must be fucking bit between the teeth, thinking, this is me. I need to fucking get back to level. Like, because it was questioned during the week about, well, what do you reckon about Joe Root passing your career totals, career centuries? And he said, well, Joe's played a couple more games than me. He's played about 40 games more, so he's across it. Steve Smith strikes me as a bloke who's across his own numbers, Pez. If I had to guess. So, I think to get through that and swiftly is significant, I think.
Yeah.
Hashtag RCDC, Pez. Brought to you by ACO, Risk Lover. Said hashtag RCDC. I'm living in a big flat surface floor number 3, and my kid is playing baseball kind of type smashing 4 and 6s. Just a simple question. I'm wondering, can this be played on green top juicy pitches, and how long can home runs be made and this thing sustain? If every team will know their strategy of playing with this repetitive stuff. Repetitive stuff.
I'm not sure if Risk
good question.
Lover,
Risk Lover.
I'm not sure if Risk Lover, which is also that's capitalized across the board. I'm not sure if Risk Lover, when he starts referring to can this thing be played on green top juicy pitches, if he's referring to his kid as like, does he want his kid to play
This
on
thing.
this?
Yeah.
Does he want his kid to play on green top juicy pitches inside his house? Is he looking to have some landscaping done or some indoor kind of indoor turf laid down or something?
Yeah.
Trying to create a green top, if that's his question, or if he's obviously using the analogy of his child playing on, a flat surface to the England's Bazball approach. I just can't work this out.
Well, I sort of understand the question with Risk Lover. He's sort of saying like his kid is playing on tiles in the hallway at his place, but what if he goes to Jared's place next door and they're on carpet and it's a bit worn? The carpet's a little bit worn, there's been some scaffolding in the corridors there. It's on carpet, and so there's a bit of wear and tear.
Yeah.
And when you sort of bite that tennis ball into the rough there, if you will, and I know that you will, then can Risk Lover's kid, can he execute the same style of play as he has been playing on the tiled, hallway?
And they go to Carl's across the road, and Carl actually lives Carl actually lives on nothing but the earth, because Dad actually took the winnings from he actually lost all the money for Reggio up at the
he lost
pokies.
the money.
Yeah, so they can't afford it. They can't afford that. And that, I tell you what, that deck fucking that rags.
Rags.
Yeah.
It's an absolute rag.
Absolute ragger there.
It's an absolute beef ragout.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like the whole Bazball thing is like...
No, you don't know.
The Bazball thing is like... it's going through this classic like internet phase, isn't it? It's like everyone's into it. The name gets coined, and then you have the contrarianism to the name, and then you have the reaction to the reaction. And now all of us, it's gone through this this whole process over like 10 days or whatever. And now everybody's against Bazball, and it's shit, and it's cliche, and it's old, and there's all these problems with it. And it's just like, listen, they just belted all these teams playing this one style of cricket, and they did it really successfully. We haven't seen it before. That's it. It's just good. Nobody's out there from that team saying that they're the best ever. The only close thing that we got to that was Ben Stokes saying, 450s, I'll have a look at it. That was the one thing that was like, that was like, you do think you're a mad dog. Yeah, but anyway, we needed that. That was actually a gift to us as well. People on the internet need that shit.
Yeah, of course. Turn into a meme, of course. Hey, great day of cricket here for the Australian cricket team. 5 for 298. Day 2 tomorrow. Carey and Smith resuming at the crease. What's going to happen? I think it's going to last more than 3 days this time, maybe. I don't know what's going to happen. Neither do you. See you tomorrow. Cheers.